Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Matt's Mailbox, where you guys ask me your questions and I try my best to answer them in a commentary. If you want to see your question answered in the next Matt's Mailbox, you can leave me your questions in the comment section below, or you can send me a Facebook message. The link to the Facebook page is in the description. Now today we have two questions, both of which have come from Facebook, so you guys have won yourself either a copy of Battlefield 3 Premium or Metro Last Light. Now the first question comes from Nicholas Wickman, and he asks, what are your thoughts on detachable accessories? We have seen there are going to be canted sights in the game allowing you to swap optics mid-match, but what about your other accessories? Now I thought this was a really interesting question, and it is a concept that I've never really thought about before, and as Nicholas does say in the question, we do know there are going to be canted sights in the game, which will allow you to have multiple sights on your weapon, so you can have your ACOG sight and your iron sights on at once. Now of course, this will create a massive change in diversity and options to your player. Of course, currently on Battlefield 3, any kind of weapon setup you pick is pretty much permanent for that player's life. Of course, as soon as you die in game, you can go back to your customizations and you can change these different setups. But of course, during the course of your player's life, you can come under different situations. You might want to take out a player at long range, where you might think, having an ACOG sight would be pretty useful. Or you might be at pretty close range where an ACOG sight would be, a bit too big, a bit too cumbersome and quite hard to use. So of course, having the canted sights in Battlefield 4 is going to allow that quick change up and diversity for your player during the combat situation. So of course, if you're going into a building, you'll flick to your canted iron sights, and then if you see someone at a distance running away, you can flick back to your ACOG and take them out. So this will bring a new level of diversity to your gameplay during a match, which I think is a good thing. But at the same time, it will take away making those crucial decisions that are based on skill, knowing whether you'll need this type of scope or this type of scope, depending on the situation and map and game type you are going into. So once again, this is taking away a little bit of the skill that you need as a knowledgeable player. You can just go, well, I'll stick on a long range scope and my iron sights, and that way I've got best of both worlds. So there is a new level of diversity to it, but at the same time, I do think it takes away from having that skill of being able to pick the right scope for the right situation. And I think the same situation would apply for your question. If you, for example, had the opportunity to take a suppressor into a match and go loud, and then as soon as you wanted to flank round the enemy with stealth, you could then reattach your suppressor. Whilst that would be a pretty cool feature to see in the game and give you a high level of customization in the middle of a match, it would take away having those options to choose which kind of kit you need for a certain situation. It would allow players to just take both the suppressor and the non-suppressed barrel into the combat situation, allowing them to have stealth and high-powered rounds in a game at the same time, which I think takes away making those crucial decisions of choosing, do I want suppressed rounds that are not quite as powerful, or do I want to go loud and be seen on the minimap but have more power behind my weapon? So whilst I do think it would be quite a neat feature to have in the game, I think it would take away the necessity of having the skill of being able to read the map, read the situation, read the game modes, and with the skills you've acquired, know which kind of weapons and which kind of accessories you will need for that situation. But these are just my thoughts and opinions on the question. In the comments below, I want to hear from you guys. Do you think it would be a good feature in Battlefield 4 to allow you to detach and reattach different accessories in the middle of a match? I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Now our second question of the day comes from Farhad Afzal, and he asks, everyone wants to see the assault class nerfed. Do you think a simple change to the defibs could solve this? Now the defibrillators are still one of the great mysteries of Battlefield 4. We didn't see them in use at E3 in the pre-alpha, nor did we see them in the closed alpha in the following weeks. And this was down to a bug that DICE found with the defibrillators only a few days before E3 begun. So they just took the defibrillators out of the game. So we are still yet to see how the mechanics of the defibrillators will work in Battlefield 4. Now for a long time there have been two main ways in which people have been saying the defibrillators could be changed up a little bit to stop the assault class from being so seemingly overpowered compared to other classes in the game, with the ability to gain a lot more points during a match, with the power to have these defib revive chains where you save 1, 2, 3, 4 people, entire squads in one go that have only just been killed. Now the first of these two changes includes taking away the ability to revive absolutely everyone, and this is definitely a feature I think should be implemented into the game. So for example, if somebody is killed by taking a headshot from a large caliber sniper rifle, or hit from a tank shell, or steps on a mine or killed by a claymore, they're pretty fatal ways to die. You're not going to be getting back up after taking a 50 caliber rifle round to the skull. And by the same token, if somebody is stabbed and has their dog tags taken away and is humiliated, I think you should not have the ability to be revived and just carry on with your gameplay. So I think if somebody stabs you and takes away your dog tags, you should also not be able to be revived. Now the second option for the defibrillators, which could be used by itself or even alongside the first option, is a recharge time. Now this would stop players from running out and reviving 1, 2, 3 players in just as many seconds. Adding a 10 or 15 second delay between each usage of the defibrillators would stop players from getting these quite high point revive chains reviving entire squads in one go. Now whether or not this would solve the issue of the overused assault class is a different question. Now personally, I think the best way to solve this issue is actually something I've spoke about in a previous video. I think the best way is to actually break this class down into two different parts. Have a specified medic class and a specified assault class. The assault class using the assault rifles and having the underbarrel grenade launchers and all of those type of weapons, and the medic class having things like the PDWs and the smaller close range weapons but still having the defibrillators and the med packs. This way you'll be taking the two most powerful items in Battlefield and splitting them into two different classes, rather than having them together in one super class as we do in Battlefield 3. But as I said, these are just my opinions and answers to the question. In the comments below, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts, opinions and answers to these questions? Now if you guys want to see your question answered in next week's episode of Matt's Mailbox, don't forget, you can leave it in the comments below or you can send me a Facebook message. And don't forget guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, please show your support and give me a like and a comment below. It does help me out so much. And in the meantime, thank you for watching and I will see you soon.